careful here. Good bit of damage.
Humanoid the auto! First blood!
I keep shock you. Yeah, nice. Ahri ult. Ahri no flash. Look Rakan.
Yeah, I can.
Looks good, he has no flash. Okay. Don't die. Nice, good job.
TP. I'm fine. TP, I'm fine. Send it on Ori. Nice. I can ulti Aatrox too, by the way. Go. I go more. Look at Seju. I can Seju, guys.
I go mid, okay?
Yeah, Seju no flash.
Welcome back to the LEC, the most entertaining league in the world. Fnatic putting themselves another game on the map, ahead in this series this time around, 2-1 against Vitality. I'm Ginny, joined with GB and Broxah this time around, and we're gonna try and break down what's going on here, because you said there was method to the madness. It felt like Fnatic is sticking to that theme, but for Vitality, it's not so much working out.
I mean, there's definitely madness, and I'm sure there was some method going into it, but I think some of the execution and maybe some of the, let's say, discipline we've also been talking about has been lacking a little bit. I at least think with a composition that they built around here, where you have Ori, you have Senna, you have a lot of these scaling elements, you have an Aatrox that's going to be chilling as well. They could have dialed back a little bit on all the heavy action and felt fine going into the late game, but yeah. I mean, as a theme of this entire series, that just wasn't the case, was it?
I just like punch me and I'll punch you back. I'm not going to punch anyone here, but that's been the theme.
Do you want to swap spaces? Or?
Really, me?
I like the adaptation from Fnatic though. They came in with, you know, the cheese Diana pick and really strong early game in game 1, and now, sure, there's still a lot of fighting and a lot of, you know, crazy chaos going on, but it feels somewhat controlled compared to what we saw at the beginning, and especially this game, I feel like they really found their footing. We saw it in the voice comms and the game turning Herald fight as well, where they were all just on the same page, and I think these mid ganks were really, really key. Like, Vetheo starts out the game solo killing Humanoid, shutting him down.
The canon event.
He just constantly gets ganked by all of Fnatic, and eventually that mid lead that they were supposed to have fades away. Humanoid and Noah both turn into literal monsters, and Fnatic in mid and late game are so good at utilizing these guys when they're fit.
And I think that's what was really lacking as well in some of the other series that we saw here for Fnatic, was like getting Humanoid ahead to that point where he can be a bridge in terms of setting you up for these team fights. And as you said yourself, like dying as the Ahri in the beginning, we've seen loads of mid laners doing that now. You suddenly just come back stronger for whatever reason. But I also think as a team, Fnatic was just a team that came together in terms of making the plays as five teams together, same screen as we used to say. And on the side of Vitality, very much isolated, and I think very much miscommunication. The second time that Vetheo died there as well, I mean, he knew that the Fnatic was in the river. In this fight as well, where they picked up the Rift Herald initially, they're just not ready for Fnatic to suddenly start and engage. And Vetheo, while having flash here, still gets caught out. As soon as he's dead, the rest of Fnatic's just able to pick up the scraps. And I think that was really the fight that blew open the game in Fnatic's favor, because suddenly they just dictate the tempo. And Vitality, we know them, they can't slow down, which you're seeing currently on your pictures right here. They had to go for Razork, they couldn't let it go, and he just ended up being Fnatic, taking more and more and more.
The most important thing in these kind of games is that you're actually on the same page. Generally, when you're a pro player, one of the first things you learn is that it's better to follow a bad call and all five dive into it together than being on different pages and doing a bunch of different things. And I think here, regardless of, you know, what fight we saw from the Herald point onwards, Fnatic just dove in as one, and Vitality were not a unit at all and just had no way of responding. And, you know, at some point they were so far behind that no matter how well they were to play, there was just no way back.
Yeah, and I think, you know, the entire Fnatic draft was really just set up in a way where no one ever goes in alone. If the Vi goes in, the Sack is coming up. The Sack's going in, Rakan's there with you. Ahri going in, well, you guessed it, coming up right behind you. The only one who couldn't go in was Noah and the Varus, but hey, that could have been a Kai'Sa instead. But it's just the fact that it's easy to play a composition like Fnatic's when the games are as chaotic as they are, because you know there's going to be fighting, you know there's going to be skirmishing. As soon as you get one lead, you just keep the aggression going, and that's what Fnatic did, to the point where Vitality did not know how to come back from that.
Part of the crew, part of the ship, that's how it felt like when we were looking at Fnatic. That was something that you said to me like a while ago, stuck. But when we're looking at Vitality, we said that we heard Finn say it, we've heard Team say it. They drag you down with them in the mud, and they want to fight you, and they will make sure that you fight them. But now they're losing at their own game, and they don't have, it doesn't feel like they have the tools in the toolbox to slow it down a little.
Well, you also need to keep in mind, they decided to draft Tahm Kench for their main playmaker. Hyli is the guy who has to, you know, push them forward and really make everything happen. And if you don't give him the likes of a Rakan or any kind of playmaking champion, really, it's going to be a tough time for them. So I'm
He's laughing, right? Because I was going to say he got me in the first half.
I'm expecting big draft adaptations from Vitality.
Yeah, but I still got their philosophy of what they wanted here. It's like, oh, if they ever pick Vi on the AD carry, well, we just got Tahm Kench to follow up. What I think they were not prepared of is that they're going to go for as many dive buttons as they were in Fnatic, where it's like, well, it's cool, you gobbled up one member for the Vi ultimate, but here's the Sank, here's the Rakan. How many teams can you really disengage with this? And suddenly, you didn't have a disengage composition. You were stuck with a composition where we can only stop one of you, and now we're just immobile, and that really was difficult for them. So I had to agree with the sentiment that Broxah is bringing into it. With the way that the games are going currently, you may need more outplay potential that was currently drafted in that situation.
Yeah, even when we're looking at the first draft coming out from Fnatic, it was very much, we want to fight, we want to play team fights. Yeah, the Diana may not have necessarily done as much damage, but it seems as the game they want to play either way.
Yeah, I think Vitality, you know, choosing red side is the good step in the right direction, because now they have the opportunity of getting some counter picks and actually setting up these key picks that can, you know, bring playmaking and turn things around.
Yeah, and with them choosing red side as well, we're going to be looking into how they're going to draft this one out, because we're ready to head into potentially the final game of the series, because Fnatic has never lost a BO5 to Vitality. So let's head over to our casters, Drakos and Dagda.
That's us. Drakos and Dagda. Thanks, Ginny. Here we are, as highlighted. Match point for Fnatic, potentially the last game. A bit nervous for Vitality if they kind of come in with the same draft approach, I think it's safe to say. But I imagine with the choice of red side, they'll adapt a bit. Maybe back to the try to give Photon counter pick. But frankly, Oscarinin has just had impact in all of these games, regardless of the top lane matchup. The only game that they won, game 1, was when Photon didn't pick for the lane, he picked for the team.
Yeah, I think it's been less of a case, though, of the top lane impact being that huge. I think it's more of a, hey, my team is winning, therefore I get to have an impact.
Yeah.
You know, and if you look back, as you say, the Malphite, that was the game where Vitality had a clear advantage and he was able to make it work. But we are coming into game number 4. Azir still going to be taken away. You're still seeing a lot of looks towards Photon with that TF ban. Vladimir ban going to come through as well for Fnatic.
I can understand why they don't like the Rumble, the potential for the flex pick. Obviously, Noxious in the bottom lane, too. Just messes up a lot of bot lane matchups, as does Zeri. TF, generally a good band, also good against Photon, the Rel, best jungler right now, alongside Volver. And now, the Rek'Sai will be taken away. Snap, first pick on the Varus. Ashe is up. So now they're going to go for Vi. And despite Vi's success in a lot of moments in the series, I gotta say, this champion, you know, really needs something to pair with it, a dive buddy if you really want to make it work. And if it falls behind, it feels pretty bad.
Also, because you can still go towards something like the Maokai as well on the opposite side, which is something that we've seen quite a lot when Vi was at the height of her pick race. Is just a great answer. You throw down the ultimate response to the Maokai, it deny any sort of follow-up engage, and it makes it very difficult for the Vi to really operate in any sort of dive composition. But Xayah taking the opposite side, maybe it's the immediate Rakan, to be perfectly honest. Just guarantee the Lovers duo, and it has been, I mean, Hitty's just been a monster on the Rakan, so it makes sense.
Giving him that proactive playmaker. Last game we talked about their draft, it just kind of had to absorb blows from Fnatic in the early game and hope to outscale, but now Fnatic secure themselves really good picks. Renata almost always banned away phase 2, not usually prioritized this early in the draft, but once you see enemy support, obviously you can just lock it in. Decent matchup with the Rakan. Excellent tool for disengage and creating space for the Varus to maneuver, as well as for the Azir. So Fnatic right now, this first 3 looking good.
Also because you take away a lot of the mobile mid lane champion pool by taking the Azir, right? Because when you look at what's left, it's Salia, the Orianas, maybe a Norellian Sol if Vetheo's feeling really spicy, or maybe even a Silas, which is what we were talking about is the potential answer that you could see for Vetheo, but all of them are going to struggle to maneuver away from the ultimate from the Renata, and if you end up taking the Maokai across the top of this as well, any sort of dive composition is going to be completely thwarted by Fnatic. So from the get-go, Fnatic looking relatively good with the answers that they have, and you kind of get an idea of what way the Vitality draft is going to go on this 4th rotation, so you can respond pretty well from Fnatic.
So Poppy now getting banned away. Would not be surprised to see the Silas taken off the board. Obviously have Sejuani to pair with it. Sejuani, a good jungler, but the high priority, I think, for Vitality, heralding a melee top 4 mid laner to be paired with is, those are the team logos. We're getting right back in. Don't mind it. So now, where are we at? What is the last big going to be here?
Yeah, I don't think I'm particularly... Okay, so just going to get rid of Oscar and Carzzy, but I don't think I'm particularly worried about the Silas coming through because of that Renata. I think we're more than likely going to see an Orianna ban here. And just saying, look, or maybe the Ahri actually could be Ahri is going to be banned away, just to say, hey, look, this is something that can set up relatively well and be a bit of an issue. So we're just going to try and remove that. And now I think you fall back to Orianna, Sylas, or that Aurelion Sol. That would be a different look.
Akali,
Okay.
all right, does not want to take the Aurelion Sol into the Azir. Wonder if it's not something that Vitality were able to practice this week, or if it's just a personal preference. But the Akali, a much bolder choice, a champion who we've seen can be very good, but might struggle against a champion like Vi on the opposing team if Fnatic do lock this in.
And I think that this is, look, let's just make Vetheo miserable on this pick. The Vi going to be able to come in. We get that guaranteed lockdown. You can set up them with the ultimate coming across the top from Jud, and Vetheo just doesn't really get to play the game. Even having the access to the bailout is going to make things very difficult for Vetheo. So I'm not the biggest fan of the pick just based on what Fnatic have already locked in. But it does mean that more than likely we're going to see Vitality try to set up for some sort of 1-3-1. So I expect a carry pick from Photon in this top side. More than likely, I'd say, going to be something like a Jace, because chances are Oscarinin is going to take some sort of tank just to round out this sort of play.
Yeah, Zac good, but I mean, blind Zac is a bold call. In the past, we saw when you wanted to pick the Zac in winter, at least, the Darius was what you usually banned away. We saw 1 or 2 matches where the Darius did perform very well. Don't necessarily love it into what Fnatic's composition is bringing to the table. Pretty hard for Darius to get that backline access. But Photon needs to pick something impactful here. This would be bold, but at this stage in the draft, they really need an edge in top lanes. They've given up so much of their draft to ensure a winning match up top, and now it's going to be the Renekton Sejuani pairing. There's some pressure on Photon to really pull ahead here.
You've great skirmishing on this top half of the map, though, with a Renekton. The melee version of your mid lane as well will be set up for Sejuani. So the 3-man counter for Vitality in this top side is going to be crazy strong. But I think Fnatic are definitely going to be looking more towards, hey, we're going to play down towards this bottom side, look to try and stack these early dragons. And as long as you don't give up towers as Fnatic, I think you're going to be able to enter into a mid game and late game where your team fight is just exponentially stronger and you can win out through that.
I just feel like this is one of the most insanely high value Renatas we've ever seen, and it was picked so early in the draft. Vitality are willingly walking in to this champion who can just hostile takeover in the face of an Akali Shroud or Renekton, instantly mitigate their impact, or use the bailout to really stop that immediate kill pressure in fights. And it's not impossible for Vitality, but Fnatic, I feel like when it comes to simplicity, when it comes to ease of execution, if we make it out of the laning phase in even state, they are very favored.
Yeah, I think the only way that they could have really countered this was, say, take something like a Tristana in the mid lane, and then you take Gwen in that top side, which can do relatively okay into the Zac. But we haven't seen Gwen really start to poke her head into drafts for a long time at this stage, so maybe not having as much practice on it, they don't feel comfortable. But it is just difficult when Vetheo's champion pool was pinched so much, and there's no real good answer into the Azir because of where it was picked in the draft phase. So honestly, I think Fnatic just coming through with a really good understanding of the draft and feeling fine to just go, Razork will pick up something. We will just let that jungler slip through, because you still had like Xin Zhao, everything.
Xin is still there, which is crazy. We are having a bit of an audio issue on stage. The game was immediately paused before players left the fountain, so do not worry, you have not missed anything quite yet. We'll work on getting that resolved as quickly as possible, the league officials, that is. In the meantime, you can look at the smiling face of Photon and Daglas. They're having a great time. Good to see that the mood is up on the side of Vitality in such an important game. Remember, they have the hardest road of the remaining teams in playoffs, not because they're at match point against Fnatic, but because even if they win, they then have to beat BDS, and they then have to beat G2 if they want to go to MSI. The odds have certainly been stacked against them, and we'll see if they can bring it back in this one and take us to a Game 5. Let's get into it.
I think a lot of the pressure is going to be on Daglas in this game. Huge amount of it's going to be, can we work with Hylissang? Can we get this early lead? Because Vitality, they need towers, they need side lane access, they need control in this game. Because if Fnatic just get to scale to a late game point, if they just get to team fight, they're going to be so happy with the way these fights go.
It's a lot of yellow and green. Sorry, intrusive thoughts one there. No one taking any other trees, a little tiny bit of inspiration, otherwise we're just, all right. See where the Keystone focus is. A lot of grasp, Conqueror, etc., etc. Bot lane is a big question for me, though, because I think Noah's had a really excellent series thus far. I think the previous game Hard to take too much from, just given the matchup that they were in. Senatom Kench, you know, kind of just going to lose by default more often than not. It's more about how big can you, or how far can you push your lead. But here, they've got double range. They should be favored early on. Hylissang, obviously a legend on the Rakan, his most iconic pick. Unless you want to go back to the Morgana in like Season 4, but I don't think any of you were that old in the audience, so.
They didn't know it was Civ HD, so.
Oh my god, Civ HD. There's not even a LeBlanc in the game yet.
A lot of brushes.
A lot of brushes, though. A lot more brushes on the new map. That's
no
for
Roas
sure.
either, actually. Yeah, it's fading quickly.
Bad time. So for now, as expected, early prio on the bottom side. We'll keep an eye on those junglers as well as in the top lane matchup. Renekton, also important for Photon to find a lead here. This is his counter pick. You know, they really put a lot into this draft to make sure that he could last pick. If he can't come out on top against the Zac, it's going to feel like that priority wasted.
I do like the problem was that you kind of read on Fnatic that you want to go for a carry in the top side. And if you go towards a Jace, Zac is actually relatively fine in that matchup and has great setup for a jungler that can come up there and try and punish. I think that's why we saw the Akshan hovered, because he at least have got a little bit more mobility.
Yeah.
But in the grand scheme of things, Akshan is so difficult to make work. Vitality have struggled to make it work in the past with Photon as well. So I think it was just a look. We're going to take the Renekton. We still have good trades, as you can see here in the early stages, to be able to take over the lane phase and just try and play more for these skirmishes on this top side instead. But you need to get the ball rolling early as Vitality to make these picks work.
Yeah, definitely do. Early Tabby, some extra armor, maybe a Bomby Cinder, and it becomes, or it starts to feel like it's impossible to get this Zac out of lane. Photon already roaming down towards the mid lane. Rare that we see this kind of aggressive early action. Maybe hoping just to catch Humanoid out here or Shadow in case of a jungle gank, but given that he crashed the wave so early, he has a lot of free time on the top side of the map to do as he chooses.
I was also distracted by your green and yellow comment. Didn't cop that he's going to be tank Azir.
Yeah.
Grasp the Undying for Humanoid as well means that he's going to be very difficult to take out in the side lane. I do like the adaptation. Yes, you'll deal slightly less damage, but you're on hit when it comes to Noah. So saying, as long as I don't die in the side lane, I should be fine.
And I will say that while usually, like internationally, that's what we see, there have been a couple cases in the LEC where we see the Grasp of the Undying into just full-on normal Azir build, right? Not focusing on anything.
Silly.
Yeah, I agree. But sometimes, you know, they just like their bone plating. I wish it was tank Azir. Well, I don't actually wish that, Rob. I don't know why I said that. I never wished that in my life. I just lied in front of however many people are watching. Sorry about that. No, I don't wish for tank Azir, but it is good. It is good. We'll see if that's how he chooses to itemize. Would be good against the Akali as well. For now, again, all is quiet. Usually in this series, we have a kill around 5 to 6 minutes. For now, both sides just posturing. Razork gonna move in, get a bit of vision down, make sure he can take the top side. Scuttle Crab is Carzzy and Hylissang fight for push. Xayah, a lot of good tools to push out here. Handshake goes a little bit wide, so a positive overall trade. But the Ignite ticking and immediately gonna get cleansed away from Noah.
Nicely done by Vitality to get control of this bot side. And this is what we were talking about, is Carzzy and Hilly. They opted in very early to the Lovers duo, and they need to try and get that aggression to make it work. And so far, it's gonna be great. Dragon going to be up in a little bit as well. Kind of look for the reset on both Hilly and Carzzy. Daglas too, and then try and look for that play off of this push. Nice demolish though.
Far forward up. The
Oh, the
handshake!
handshake!
No! It's so dirty! The tower shot, the flash out, the arrow, the sidestep is good! Hylissang living for now. Healing up a bit. Fnatic now stepping in. Showing excellent handshake. Misses the earlier one, but makes up for it there. Gets all the sums from Hilly.
And Carzzy can't really trade aggressively because the bailout's still going to be there. So even if he tries to go toe-to-toe against Noah, Noah will just win out with the extended health bar that he ends up from the bailout. Jun now walking forward again. Does he look for the flash?
It's just a full 2v2. Nice sidestep. Again, the engage, the flash away. The bailout there. Do they take their time? Noah, he's going to heal back up there. We need him to die to get it. Oh my god, what a 2v2! Vitality get both!
Carzzy flashing into the bush to deny any subsequent auto attacks means that you cannot get the reset. I think Noah as well, missing just barely on that arrow from the piercing arrow as well, is heartbreaking for Noah and Jun.
And this was the first pick. These were the first two champions Vitality locked in for comfort, for power in the draft, to deny a potential Vi, or at least limit its effectiveness. Forces the flash, but Jun flashing so far back. Carzzy into the bush, as you highlighted.
Yeah,
you can see
piercing arrow goes wrong. Thinks that Carzzy is going to keep running, but Carzzy moves deeper into the bush. And that's a double kill for Vitality on that bottom side. Now with the reset coming through, Noonquiver already picked up. They should be able to get push on bot side, lean that in towards Dragons. And if you can deny some early Dragons from Fnatic, it sets you up nicely to play out in the later stage of the game where you trade Dragons for neutral objectives or even towers on that top half of the map.
Razork is here, and crucially, Noah still has flash. When level 6 comes around, Vitality are going to have to be careful. Hylissang, the handshake hits. Razork waiting on the vault breaker. Dash in from Hylissang. Now needs to retreat back to the waiting arms of Carzzy or Daglas, but he wants to keep stepping up. Dodges away from the arrow. Initial stun is good. Daglas taking his time. Doesn't proc it on Razork. Noah caught out. Couple stacks here, but lethal tempo procced. Gonna hold his own and push Vitality back.
Noah said a flash and cleanse, so Vitality decided not to overextend on the back of that. But Razork being there will prevent the bounce back from Carzzy and Hilly being as threatening towards Dragon as it was previously. So nicely done by Razork to stick his face into the harm's way to get Vitality out of that position.
Definitely good. Need to be careful about letting Carzzy have too much free space here. We saw last week in the game too. Carzzy can show up when it really counts. Needs to have that level of carry performance if he wants to take us to the game 5. Again, Vitality, the org's history is rough, potentially to be defined by this new roster this year. Never taken that series against Fnatic. The Carzzy and Hylissang certainly have, and look to do so again.
It's nice from Daglas though, being able to pick these up. Photon having full control over this top side with Oscarinin not being able to really approach the wave to proc his W and heal anything means that Vitality will just be able to get this objective on the top half. Maybe Razork looks for something on the opposite end, but the reset from Carzzy and Hilly is going to make that very tough. They're not going to be there to try and answer unless it's a Dragon take for Fnatic.
Hylissang just now recalling Carzzy back onto the map to try to move down to the bottom lane. Razork recalling as well, seeing that Grubs have already gone over as Vetheo trying to trade aggressively as possible into Humanoid. Pushback is good, but doesn't quite get him under tower. Hylissang there to follow up, gets the flash. Excellently played by the side of Vitality. R2 out to safety. That's the perfect execution down from Vetheo, but he gets the flash from Humanoid on top of the ulti.
Humanoid's still going to be able to shove in this wave, so Vetheo will have to reset and come back in. Hilly delayed on the reset too, but the wave is pushing into Carzzy, so Hilly will still be in a position to dissuade any sort of dive onto this bot side. And you got the objective on top half, so Vitality, unless they end up losing Dragon, honestly don't lose out on a huge amount there for Hylissang sticking around for so long in the mid wave.
Definitely good position to be in. They're trading topside as Photon doesn't walk into the blob. Oscarinin now bouncing, hoping to get the Dominus out from Photon as well as heal up a bit of extra HP. Photon though, not quick to press that one. We'll take the blob away, stop Oscar from going in for the follow-up trade. An obnoxious matchup, all these mini-game top laners.
Photon can crash this wave though, reset, pick up his items, and then have the opportunity to TP into a potential dragon fight if they really want to. Daglas going for the reset as well. But I don't know if this has been communicated on the side of Vitality at the moment, but Daglas, if you beeline over towards the dragon, this could be a great moment for Vitality to pick up some of these early wins for themselves.
Vetheo has to be careful. Ball breaker over the wall, flash to connect, immediate ultimate, and down goes Vetheo. Meanwhile on the top lane, Photon going all in. That's the passive gone. Is he going to be able to take out the blobs in time? He should be able to. Cole the Meek right around the corner, taking a tower shot, finishing off Oscar. Kills in top and mid.
Plates for Photon as well, but nice play from Razork to kill Vetheo. Vetheo wasn't ready for the Vi to come over the wall and doesn't have the TP to get back into lane. So Fnatic trying to set up in river, have the numbers advantage. The Humanoid's ult is just about to come back off cooldown.
Vetheo on the way, he has ulti. Vitality stepping up despite the fact that they could be at a man disadvantage if Humanoid steps down, but Humanoid just wants to reset. They're happy to concede this Drake. It's not ideal, but they got the kill. They got an advantage for the Azir. They don't want to risk throwing it away.
This is still something that Vitality can use. We already kind of talked about Dragon stacking for Fnatic is the way to force Vitality into team fights, and you have a stronger team fight comp as Fnatic. But if Vitality get these early objectives, they just get to play at a 1-3-1. They can cross map for top tower. They can cross map for even just a mid tower. Not really cross map, just
ulti flashed. Summoner traded for the ultimate will feel good, but the fall play a little bit harder as they don't have access to the Glacial Prism.
Huge amount of vision invested onto this bottom side for Vitality as well, just allowing Carzzy and Hylissang to play hyper aggressive, knowing that there is no threat from Fnatic. So Razork might try. I mean, even if he tries for a lane gank, you can see there's a nice ward
Humanoid going in, instant scoop back. Razork in the area. Vetheo waiting in the Shroud. We'll spot him out. R2 dash out to safety. Good call out from Humanoid. The second the Shuriken flip is missed, he just goes all in, knowing that his jungler's closer.
Vetheo trying to play off the vision that he has, but just gets caught. And not going to be too much coming from it. Didn't have to burn the flash, so we'll still have a little bit there if they try to play towards it. But yeah, a huge amount of it is just trying desperately for Razork and Humanoid to find a pick.
Hylissang trying to cut down Noah instantly. Finds the kill, the cleanse out. Noah, sidestep from Carzzy is good. That's a kill already. Hostile takeover from Johnny, uses the bailout on himself. The handshake gets him a bit more space, but Daglas is on the chase. The stun coming through. Carzzy with the double. Hylissang pulls the trigger on the engage, and Daglas now chasing to follow. Razork forced to run. They don't have the kill pressure, but they'll get the camp, they'll get the kills, they'll get the plates on the bottom side. Razork still stepping up, though, because there's a TP coming in from behind. Oscar on the way in, only half HP, but Razork just knows that he's stronger. Takes out Hylissang. Oscar, where's the elastic slingshot going to go? Ball breaker to chase. TP now coming in from Photon as well. It's a hot mess. The Azir can start to roam down. This could be disaster for Vitality, but it's a double TP. Oscar in the midst of everybody. The dominance. They want to get something back. Carzzy's getting lower and lower. That's the shutdown. 2 for Oscar. The TP is clutch. The bailout is there, but they can't quite get the kill in time. No one drops. Vetheo, Shuriken flip back to safety. Humanoid on the push, though. His entire team behind him. Fnatic rally in the extended fight and look to find one more as Humanoid takes down Vetheo.
Fnatic chopped down Vitality as they think they can find the play. Hylissang spots a Humanoid, actually just going to be able to walk away. But amazing stuff from Fnatic. They end up having just so many more members get there quicker. Daglas takes so much damage on the way up. By the time Photon arrives, it's just not worth it. But Hilly, he snuck his way in. A Humanoid doesn't realize it.
Gold dead even, but maybe just for a brief moment. Hylissang taking his time, waiting for the dash back. Daglas there with the ball. They don't have the damage, but they have more than enough CC. Carzzy desperately stepping forward, but Noah's now in the picture. Humanoid with a pushback to get 2 under the tower. Yes, Carzzy gets the shutdown, but now Daglas and the rest of Vitality need to get the hell out. Carzzy, nice sidestep to move through. Ball breaker there. Hylissang ready to interrupt if need be. Trying his best to protect the AD carry. The feathers do not quite connect, but the ulti from Noah does. Follow-up not going to happen. Both sides walk away from the 3v3. Humanoid the only one to fall.
Photon, though, on the bot lane tower is going to get some more plates for himself. 30 seconds until those plates drop. So Vitality, they get to walk away. They got the kill on Humanoid. They're getting the plates on side lanes. And that's a 5-kill Xayah with a 2.3k gold lead in this bottom side. And just going to get a quick replay as Humanoid trying to get the damage onto Vetheo. Okay, this must have just happened when we were looking.
Right before the play, maybe?
Oh. Just not quite able to get the Q auto damage onto
the
Humanoid.
list of Akali's embarrassing themselves in 1v1s against Humanoid is getting bigger. That's my only point. Just be aware. Because again, so many fights happen. We have to talk about all of them. This one just excellent play there from Vitality. I think Carzzy with an unnecessary cleanse as he does sidestep.
Jun just not really getting value out of the ultimate as well. There tries to get onto both Daglas and Hylissang to dissuade them from coming in, but doesn't really get anything out of this. Now back to the picture-in-picture. You see Fnatic setting up on towards the objective. Hylissang, Daglas on one side, Vetheo on the other. Photon going to be late to the party.
Objective goes down for Fnatic. Carzzy now potentially in trouble in the mid lane. Does have access to the ultimate. Humanoid continues to just step forward. With the Leandries first, we'll see if he goes for anything tanky afterwards. But obviously a frustrating amount of damage output coming through. Carzzy 2.3k gold lead. Photon small lead of his own as well as 2 kills. These are the carry points on the map right now for the side of Vitality, but on the opposite end, Razork and Humanoid, who else could it be? Mid-jungle duo. So good in so many games across the split. Need to show up in match point here if they do not want to give Vitality access to a game 5.
They're very early Vitality on the spot wave though.
Daglas setup is there. Hostile takeover sidestepped by Hylissang. Get that cooldown out, and now Vetheo's in a 1v1 that he absolutely cannot win. He will dash out. He will thumbs up.
He'll have to run.
He just has to keep running. Elastic slingshot. Oscar waiting. Goes in. Trick flip safety. Vetheo's thumbs upping, but I think that's a sad thumbs up. You do not want to get pushed out of lane by the Zac. It's probably an inevitability, but that does not feel good.
Especially when you want to be trying to fight this dragon, or at least getting something on the upside of the map for the dragon. But with Vetheo back at base, Oscarin's making his way down, just slingshot himself up the back of the barn pit. So Vitality, they are about to be collapsed on, and they have nowhere to run.
Oscar in position, Carzzy has ulti, he has summoner spells, it's okay, but Vitality need to learn from their mistakes in the previous game. Photon on the flank, gets pushed in though! Handshake is there, perfect change to see. The only target that Vitality can hit is Oscar, and he's one beefy Zach, but they're gonna try to shred through. I think he still has passive as well as the bailout. Vitality, we've already lost the exchange, but they want to keep fighting. Dagla's now gonna be in trouble. Hylissang gonna try to turn this. Carzzy, can he do the necessary damage to tear through? Carry stepping up. Carzzy doing a lot of work. Cleanse, flash out to finish Jun. Carzzy playing like a psycho. He doesn't have the feathers in position. It's too much. Fnatic take the exchange. They get the Drake. They get some kills. They're happy with that one.
Vetheo is essentially useless in these fights without his ultimate, so he still has to turn tail and run. And Carzzy's trying everything he can in these fights with Hylissang, but there's just no front line. Photon gets caught out immediately with a great shuffle. And Oscarinin is able to buy a ton of time and space on this top half because he's got the Guardian Angel, because he's got the bailout coming through. He doesn't even go down. And then at this stage, you're just trying to buy time for the cooldowns of Fnatic to come back up. They turn onto Daglas, who steps too far forward. And then Hilly, this is a great engage, but you just don't quite have the damage because the position on the feathers thanks to the wall. And then yes, Carzzy gets Jun, but he's way too far forward from that position to follow through with the feathers on the opposite side of the fight.
He's just not in a position to pull them back through the enemy carries. Vetheo now in trouble. Tries to get tricky with it, but I just don't think there's a reliable way for you to get out. Can dash over the wall if he needs to, but Noah's here as well. Vetheo likely to fall. Luckily has the Shuriken flip, but Oscar not done yet. Q forward, not quite gonna hit. A minion might have interrupted there, but Fnatic punishing Vitality beautifully. Have the push on the top side as well as the Herald to back it up. Yes, Photon is pushing bot lane, but Vitality has to be careful.
Decisions aren't being made by Vitality. Daglas was on Raptors. He could have moved Carzzy and Hilly across, but they're a little bit late. And now Fnatic get full control, and Hilly's caught.
Pull back. Handshakes have been good from Jun. And Oscar just continues to be a thorn in the side for Vitality. It's so hard for them to play in these side lanes. Vetheo just doesn't do anything to this Zach.
And Photon tried to dive on towards Humanoid. Humanoid end up using that ultimate to shove him out onto the bot side, so no tower tier 2 taken or pressure made. Vetheo.
What?
Oh, Vetheo.
Okay, all right, you staggered the recall. Maybe that can get something, but Razork's already looking to make another play in the mid lane. Wave's gone. Just provides enough threat to stop them from auto-attacking. Vetheo, again, doesn't do any damage. It's tough. I mean, it's just, you just have a Lich Bane. It's a Zach with 1.5 items. His health pool is just too big. Photon wants to make a play in bottom side, but just all its dashes for nothing. All Fnatic moving. Carzzy the one now in trouble. TP bot lane, they see their window of opportunity. They know that Carzzy doesn't have cleanse because of the previous play, but he does have the feathers. Jun now in trouble, uses the bailout himself, tries to get an extra moment. Razork now stepping in, but Noah now finally coming in, ready to play cleanup. Oscarinin trying to buy his AD carry space, and he'll buy more than enough because Photon can do nothing. Noah just free hitting, doing whatever the hell he pleases in this exchange. So much work done by the Fnatic front lines, but it is Noah who is reaping the rewards. A triple kill for Humanoid in the fight.
Hylissang dives in front of Carzzy to tank the handshake. But there's way more in the tank for Fnatic. They destroy Vitality in that position. As you catch it here in the replay, the handshake comes through from Jun, but watch Hylissang actually gets in front of it here and tanks it up. And Carzzy does manage to get away from the ultimate, but the stun is there from Razork. Humanoid's in a great position to get damage onto Daglas. Oscarinin's coming in from all sides, and Carzzy's used everything. And sure, Vetheo managed to TP into the fight, but it's already been decided. And all he gets to do is from the smoke, dip, hide, run away. Because Fnatic are chasing everyone down.
And now Fnatic are just in such a good position. They've got the control mage at 2 items. Already the hourglass available for Humanoid. He hasn't been hesitating to make plays, but now it's so much easier knowing you have the luxury of the stasis.
And people were doubting Fnatic when he came into this. Vitality actually going to look for a hero play. Going to just try and sneak away this. You can see Dagdas on mid-wave. They have no idea that this is going down.
If already quick blades, this is very possible. It's going to take a decent amount of time, but Humanoid doesn't even suspect it.
Daglas is showing on the wave, so they're like, there's no way that they are trying to do this.
The question mark pings are coming out, though.
Hilly's so low.
But I think they've realized too late. Veteo's here now to tank.
Razork is only now leaving his red buff.
Oh, Vitality! Gotten away with it!
This is so smart.
They lose a tower. They get the Baron. It won't mean much for them, but it stops Fnatic from getting any greater advantages.
Especially if they want to try and set up for the next dragon as well. Now you've got a Baron up minion wave that you can play off here as Vitality, and they're going to do just that. Azir trying to respond in the mid lane for Humanoid on towards the tier 2, but Carzzy will easily clear that out. And you keep putting pressure here as Vitality. You don't have to reset. You know Fnatic are putting resources into this Dragon.
Good heads-up play from Vitality to give themselves a bit more time in this game. Fnatic were starting to run away with it. Gold Lead goes from 4K to a little over 2. So Vitality gets some standing gold in the form of the towers as well as the buff. Again, with Dragon gone, it'll be hard for them to do too much more with this first Baron buff. It gives them time to get a second item onto Vetheo, which will be crucial in the fights to come. Carzzy as well, 2.5, still overall stronger than Noah, but what once felt like an impossible gold lead for Fnatic to overcome. The 5-1 Xayah, now 7-3, some shutdowns given over, and I think Noah right back in the game and Humanoid pulling further and further ahead.
It's a 3,000 Red Bull Baron power play. I've been just shy. But it's the fact that you've got so much gold now into Carzzy again, I think you just need to try and set up fights in a position where maybe you can have a flank opportunity for Vetheo. And Vetheo isn't going to one-shot anyone. Vetheo's job right now is distract. Just try and keep people's attention on him so Carzzy can work his way through these fights. Because you have a decent front line with the Lockets on Hilly, Daglas and Photon, but it's still hard.
Yeah, and now you can see the Negatron Cloak coming in for Humanoid, right? He's going to get tankier. And that's a Lightning Jewel for Vetheo. So while you're talking about him buying space, he clearly wants to do damage. It's not a Seeker's Arm card or a Zhonya's. Nothing that's going to buy him time or make him that much tankier. Full focus on upping his damage output. So maybe he can be a threat in the side lane. Maybe he can provide that backline threat onto someone like Noah. But right now, it is tough for Vitality to navigate this game. The only thing that makes it easy for them to step into enemy jungle right now is the fact that they have the Baron buff. Oscar going down to the bottom lane. If he's spotted, maybe an avenue where they can try to take this Zac down. Again, he's really tanky, but Carzzy does a lot of damage. Oscar, quick flash out of safety. Nice interrupt. Good patience coming in from Daglas there to wait on the Arctic Assault, but Oscar just ults out to safety. In the meantime, top lane, Humanoid throws out the ultimate. Not able to find Vetheo.
It looks a bit funky, Vitality trying to trade on the map when they have Baron, but they are still behind. And they kind of feel it. Now, gold is starting to even up, but at least they're getting access to points on the map. And if you can start to get some control inside, you're in a good spot. But as you said, Negatron Cloak for Humanoid makes it impossible for Vetheo to actually 1v1 him. We've already saw the results of that. And Zac doesn't care anymore. Zac is very, very big, and Photon doesn't really do much to him, so he's going to be happy enough to clear out the wave state. So while you're getting these towers, it still feels inevitable that we're going to take this fight in 3 minutes at the Dragon. When the Baron respawns, another fight for Fnatic. Vitality need a miracle. They need some sort of pick. They need some sort of misstep from Fnatic to claw back this game.
They've been here before where it's kind of all eyes on Carzzy. Can you be the player to make the difference? But Fnatic have so many tools to take him out, and he's walking forward in the mid lane. They force the cleanse out early. Carzzy needs to be the hero, but he just gets deleted. I don't know if you want to call it cast or curse or just honestly bad positioning on the midway, but that's a disaster.
That's the decisiveness I want to see from Fnatic, though. Immediately collapse onto Carzzy. And when people were doubting Fnatic coming into this, even themselves saying that they didn't feel like they were playing at their highest level, Fnatic have been fighting back against Vitality every step of the way, and now they're looking for Photon as well, trying to see if they can finally solidify that win and push themselves forward to that match against BDS.
Vitality's priorities in the draft. You get the Xayah Rakan, looked good early. You get the Renekton, hasn't amounted to much, but the things that were a pain for them in the previous game, the Zac and the Azir, are still such a headache for them to deal with. Clean cleanse from Noah. Little Captain Jack there for us, for our viewing pleasure. Vitality still trying to make these bold plays. They have a lot of damage. They should be able to just delete a single target, but can't make it work in that instance.
Especially with a minute and a half now until that Dragon. At this stage, I think you forego it as Vitality. Yes, it's a big risk, but if you can get mid-wave, push out top, group a Vetheo onto that tier 2 tower, maybe, just maybe, you can find these moments to play around the pockets of vision you can set up in the enemy jungle. But you can see what I mean about Oscarinin and Photon. Photon just doesn't do anything to Oscar anymore. And that's where your 1-3-1 game plan, that opportunity to try and find some threat inside lanes, is just dwindling.
Maybe you can do the classic Renekton late game maneuver of finding a flank or parking yourself on top of your carry to just be a point-click piece of CC. But it's tough. Randuin's Omen now coming in for Oscar too means it's that much harder for Carzzy to shred through that health bar. Yes, he does have Lord Dominix. Yes, he's at 3 items. He can, in an extended fight, win, but Fnatic have fantastic tools to make sure that that never happens.
Photon, group mid Vitality, I think it's just played for wave state. Prevent Fnatic from being able to immediately tank up your turret, and Carzzy, you can see him trying to play on the wave there. Take that out. Good.
Channel. Carzzy locked up. The ulti hits. The CC is flawless for a brief moment. Carzzy lives. Finally, the defenders are forced to fly, but it looks like he might die once again. He's untouched on the backline for a moment, but no! Oscar walks in. He slaps them together. It's a clutch performance from the man in the top lane. It's a shutdown for Vetheo, but I just don't think it's going to matter. He wants to E2 back in, but the mark is already fading. The bailout is already there. Photon desperate to get it back. He finds the shutdown. How much more can the Renekton get? Surely nothing else. Vetheo still standing. They know they can't afford to lose this fight. Photon healing up. Big initial impact. Dashing forward onto Jun. Oscar can't find the setting target. It's a miracle. Photon trying to keep this game in his favor. He needs to get the stun so Vetheo can go back in. He goes golden. Vetheo knows this is his time. Step up.
The Shuriken flip's gone.
One more. Are you kidding me, Photon? It was supposed to be Carzzy, but when everything else falls apart, it is Photon in the top lane to keep Vitality's hopes alive. Oscar will get one back. Might just manage to make it out. The CC surely too much. Seismic shove, the final stun. Will the Zac finally die? The extra healing. It looks like the answer is no. He just keeps on living. And now Noah is here. Are you kidding me? Oscar is playing like a god in this game.
The blob is unkillable. Oscar manages to escape, but Vitality still get the fight. And a huge amount of this was, yes, you get the flash in from Razork. Yes, you managed to get the CC, but where is the damage to finish off Carzzy? He ults, flashes away from the arrow, manages to get a good amount of damage off onto people before it goes down, and then watch Photon immediately gets onto Razork, finishes him off, finishes off Noah, and then he's just working around this fight, completely ignored as people try to finish Vetheo, but he's consistently getting onto Carry, he's consistently getting the damage and the cooldowns back up. And then once he's in a position to follow through, they're able to do things. But Daglas now.
Razork. Again, the ball breaker hits onto Hylissang. Hylissang ready to back away. Dominance already comes out. Look at Oscar in the back line, ready to dive in. Carzzy tries to sidestep, immediate cleanse, getting him out of the hostile takeover. Hylissang goes back in. The Akali into the back line, and this time she does damage, baby! Vetheo did it once with Misfits. He wants to do it again for Vitality. Akali finally taking over in the fights.
It should have been done. It should have been over. Fnatic should have been the one celebrating, but Vitality, by some miracle, have found the fights they need, and they can go for the end. The base is just opening up in front of them.
And like any other miracle, you gotta see it to believe it, but here we are. In the clutch, Photon is there. Enough time finally bought for Vetheo. Oscar wants to clear the way, but will this be the death of Vitality? Will they get overeager? They need to end, but Jun is here. 5 seconds on Noah. Vetheo getting lower and lower.
They gotta run, they gotta get out, but Razork, his ultimate is up in just a couple of seconds. They're gonna try and chase them back away. There's a few TP wars that Humanoid could look for in behind them.
Ulti around the corner from Noah.
There's a
now
TP.
gonna come in. Good call out. This is it. This has to be the final fight.
Carzzy has no aid. He's no ult.
Carzzy has got to be in trouble. Photon trying to body block, trying to stop Humanoid from going in. Instant turn on the stun. Carzzy uncontested. They're in the choke against the feathers. You have to wait a brief moment. Here comes Vetheo. The mark up there, but Humanoid is next second because of the bailout. And now the turn and the finish. Fnatic. Oh, they punish Vitality, but can they end it here? They want to. You can see desperation on both sides. Fnatic, no. They've been gifted back. They had no business to throw the game away. They threw it, and now they want to keep it back in their control.
They can't end. Vtheo's going to crash the wave. And also, just the fact that you have 40-second death time means you'd have to get through 2 towers. The TP is for Baron. Vetheo taken out. Daglas won't be able to get there in time. Fnatic just playing off that moment from Vitality. The adrenaline was running. They thought they had their moment in their sights.
Wait, no. Super minions, observers don't use this. No one is alive. It's going to be 1 tower. Wait, 7 seconds on Photon. Baron goes down, 4-second recalls. Okay,
the pings are onto it though. Maybe actually, I think it's just Dragon. I think you just take Dragon. The Baron there as well for Fnatic means they'll reset fast. They'll be able to clear out. But Dragon is going to be the next step. And Zero Vision was really set up by Fnatic on this bottom side, so Hilly maybe seeing if he can get into position, but this has to be the Carzzy play. This has to be him finding those moments. Vetheo 8 seconds. He can TP in. There's plenty of wards. Fnatic trying to clear them out, but they're just not going to be enough.
They can't kill Oscar, but they can't kill Razork. Take the jungler out of the equation. It's not enough. Oh, at the end of the day, the itemization's not keeping him healthy, but he still manages to get the ult out. Now it's Carzzy in trouble. He pulls them back. Carzzy still throwing down so much damage. Fnatic now moving into the choke. They have to be careful. Photon continuing to step up the dragon, the prize. But again, chaos. Fnatic lose 2 in the exchange.
That's 2 Baron buffs gone. That's a dragon for Vitality. They have to get these waves pushed out. They can't really get much more with the position that they have on the map. But they will be able to get these super minions at least pushed in to Fnatic's side of the map and deny Fnatic really making much out of this Red Bull Baron power play. You can see less than 1,000 gold accrued at the moment, and I think it's only going to dwindle from here.
Take a deep breath, Berlin, everybody at home. It's over for a minute or two. Both sides farming up, gearing up, getting their items. Fnatic on the cusp of facing BDS in the top 3 next weekend. Vitality looking to bring us to a game 5, 23-19 the kill score, but the gold is dead even. And frankly, it might not matter very much longer, depending on how long this game goes.
And these were 2 of the teams that were tied for that #1 spot. Fnatic ended up taking it because of the head-to-head strength, but you can see just how close this game is. And Hilly is off, waiting in the wings. Does he stop the recall? I think he has. I think he's still looking.
He's fishing.
He hasn't been spotted.
How many games? How many games for Fnatic were defined by a Hylissang
But
flank?
look at all the vision. Pink in the brush, Pink in mid, Ward in behind them as well. Fnatic are very aware that Hilly wants to go for this. As you say, Hilly used to play for them. They are very much aware of what this man can do.
Fnatic think they have the opportunity while they hit this, but they're not aware that they're getting baited in. They'll finally spot Hylissang, but will it be too late? Jun needs to be quick on the reaction. They blocked with the Renata, but he managed to buffer the ult out. The hostile takeover. The pushback is big from Humanoid. Isolated on the side, with the 2 carries of Fnatic playing together. Uncontested on the other side of the wall for a brief moment, but their front line is falling apart. Razork going to ulti, but the feathers fly again. Humanoid and Noah, can they do it? And here comes Oscar. Vetheo, not enough. Fnatic in the clutch. Keep their carry standing.
Humanoid drew a line in the sand and said, you will not take this game. You will not get access to our carries. And Daglas is desperately trying to clear the wave state, but it doesn't matter. Fnatic will finish him off with just a couple more pop shots. But without the wave, Fnatic, they can't get it. They can't end the game. What was a beautiful fight. They just cannot get the wave.
With a happy B, tries to sidestep. Doesn't really matter if he gives the kill over, but takes a bit of time. Killing spree now for Humanoid.
But look at it. Vetheo gets to clear this wave. They don't have a wave to end on. They go back to the sides. They go back to the drawing board, and they need to figure out again how to make this fight happen, because this was beautiful from Humanoid. You see the engage onto Jun. Noah cleanse and flashes over towards Humanoid, who opens up this wall of safety where nobody on Vitality can get access to Humanoid and Noah, whereas they're able to free hit over the back line and over the front line of Vitality. And then Razork immediately turns onto Carzzy. Yes, he gets the ult, but the follow-up on the Vault Breaker finishes off Carzzy, and Vetheo has to run to the hills. Humanoid beautifully controlling that fight with that Azir ultimate.
That's a reaction I like to see. Cage will cheer. I respect it, Berlin.
Don't know if you can hear it with the headset on.
No, I can hear it on our stream, maybe. Hard to tell what's coming through in the ears versus in the studio, but okay. Fnatic, they had mid control, they have vision control, they have first access to Baron if they so choose. Neither side is on soul point yet. It's only been 4 Drakes this entire game.
It has to be to talk about summoner spells though. Noah has none available. The push down mid lane, they kind of realize, hang on a second, we don't have the defense. Oscarinin, will he get caught by Carzzy here? Not quite able to get the root. But Noah having no access to his flash, as this Dragon's about to come up in just over a minute's time, he's going to be very vulnerable to a flash from Hilly. Some sort of setup coming through as well from Photon.
And if we go game 5, we're breaking the kill record.
Maybe we might break it.
Break it this game. What the hell? All right, I pledge no allegiances in the LEC. At International, obviously, LEC till I die. I'm a fan of good League of Legends, and I don't know what this is, but it's bloody, and I love it. And right now, Fnatic are on the cusp. They're moving on to face BDS. You heard it in the interview. You heard it in the voice comps. They were not happy with how they had been playing, but at the end of the day, a win is a win, and I hope we hear that joy from them today if they're able to close it out on the opposite side. Vitality in a similar state. Need to take us to game 5. The job won't be done for them. Side. Tries to get tricky with the Daglas, hiding the animation as he dashes to the side, but won't connect with anything. And now the push on the bottom side. Fnatic have a wave in their favor. Both sides debating. Every single decision could cost you. But Fnatic just going to set their sights in the tier 2. Look to maybe push for more. You've got recalls coming in. Photon might be the lone member set to push this wave out in the middle lane. But Fnatic can just immediately go for the fight.
They can take it, they can go for the 3v5.
Ulti on the Carzzy, Hylissang now trying to disengage. The feathers flying, the flash to the side of Carzzy, it's clean! But Oscar finds so much space, and in goes Razork, and again it is Oscar! The damage from everyone else, but it does not matter because this Zac will not be stopped. Vitality pulling away, but their carry is dead. And that has to be it. But Fnatic don't want to be the ones to get greedy. They don't want to be the ones to throw it away.
It's a split call though. They're still going.
Photon doing a lot of work here, doing a lot of good damage. Vetheo now dashing in, pushback from Humanoid. He still has the cooldown. Hylissang still standing. They're trying to get in. Photon trying to take Humanoid out. It's the tank. The tank is here. Not enough damage. Vetheo still alive. Humanoid standing. Vetheo goes back in. Reset is there.
They're still going. They're still going.
We go again, baby. We go again.
We don't go again. We're going to the base.
Vetheo has anything to say about it. It is chaos. It is insanity. It is blood and bone, and it is a banger, ladies and gentlemen.
It is LEC. What a banger of a series that we have here. As Vetheo cannot close out the game. He cannot find that moment to finish off the tower as Noah comes back up. But now you get both of the solo laners resetting. You're going to move back out towards the dragon. And this is only third dragon for Vitality, 37 minutes into this game. But Baron is also up on the cards. And that is the immediate focus for Vitality as they turn over towards that. Carzzy already going to start it up, knowing that you have to deal with that mid-wave as Fnatic.
No, has to be careful about stepping too far forward. Uncertainty, doesn't have the vision. Hylissang could be waiting in a brush for all he knows. But has the teammates to back him up as a TP in. The Baron's gone, but the 5v5, all that matters. All these other buffs are relevant. No one even close to an Elder.
But everything was used by Carzzy in that last fight. Only the ultimate up and remaining. Noah will have his flash back up, so he's going to be a little bit more safe. But Carzzy, he needs to play up. He needs to be the one to deal the damage, but he needs that protection to keep him safe in these fights.
It's so hard. Daglas has to choose between going into the backline or trying to peel for Carzzy, using the Arctic Assault to interrupt the Zac, but even then.
The Chaos Crucible on Hilly is going to be crucial as well at trying to keep Carzzy safe from Jun if he ever opens up with that hostile takeover. But once again, we're having the trade. Third dragon goes across Fnatic. Baron up. Baron buff could be enough for them to actually start to crack open some of these other turrets. And may not be enough for Fnatic to close out with the position that they're in.
Again, there's so much tension in this game, so savor the moment.
I forgot what number we're on, to be honest. I have no idea what number the kills are.
A breath. Everyone again. Reset. The setup on the fight, the summoner spells you've highlighted, Dagda. Vetheo with flash, Noah with flash, Daglas also the potential to make these plays. There's no objective on the map right now worth grouping for. So both sides might set up vision. They might try to find a pick, they might try to find an angle. But unless they group up and try to force a 5v5 right here, we're going to have a brief moment of calm.
No TP on either of the solo laners for Vitality though.
No, this is crazy. He sees the ward, but he doesn't see any. Hylissang, okay, all right. Observer's doing us a little dirty there. I thought maybe they start a fight.
I think at the moment Vitality are happy to just take it slow. Let Carzzy get his flash up. Let the waves do the work. You have the TP advantage for Oscarinin, and you don't have any way to get Vetheo into position. So if Fnatic have the opportunity to collapse faster, that's where the danger part is for Vitality. So moving the minions in, Cannon minion is going to start to take pop shots at this turret, as Vetheo is going to be able to get that top tower for himself off the back of this next wave.
So the tower will drop as well. Again, gold, it just doesn't really matter at this stage of the game, to be honest with you. It's already a death cap for the Azir. Yes, he delayed a bit to get for the Abyssal just to be safer in the 1v1, but Humanoid is powerful. Noah is powerful. Carzzy, Vetheo, Photon as well. Fnatic a ton of tools. Find the engage to stop Carzzy from being impactful in this game. Double Randuins and Anathema's chains as well. Surely attached to the Xayah.
Baron buff is about to wear off though. So Vitality, they don't have the safety net of having these buffed up creeps anymore as they start to enter underneath the tower. Daglas supporting Vetheo on this top side.
They split the fight. Do they win if they fight two isolated fronts? Oscarinin thinks so. He's kicking that one off, maybe hoping to just get some summoners or some spells out of Vetheo, but he interrupts the first dash. That's going to be clutch. Vetheo pushed away, taken down. Oscar, the timing, absolute perfection to interrupt the perfect execution, but Vitality now, desperation measures. Hoping to find the flank.
Tank the tower? I don't think they can just tank the tower by
They have
themselves.
a bot lane wave.
They're just going to try and rush for bot lane wave.
They wait as long as possible. They can't let their wave die. Oscar going to spot them out with the trinket, the interrupt. They need to kill Oscar immediately. The rest of Fnatic descending on them like wolves. Carzzy trying to get something back. The recall's there. He needs to get back to Hylissang to reset. Oh god, it's disaster. Surely this is the end. The pick onto Vetheo will end up costing them.
The kills.
Vitality hoping to get something back. The feathers out, but Noah off to the side. Uncontested, the knock up there. Carzzy's got no room to play. And surely this is it. Surely this is the final nail in the coffin, the GA. It's not going to do anything. Fnatic. It might. Photon. He's still up. They managed to get out. But the push again from Daglas. He's just trying to clear the wave. Praying for one more fight, just one more. But Fnatic have given Vitality enough opportunities. They want to send them home packing, but Vetheo is back up again. The death timers are so damn long. Daglas will finally drop.
Humanoid has TP for the wave. He's going to use it to come in. I didn't know if they're going to use it to keep that single creep alive, but instead Fnatic, they are marching forward. Vetheo, honestly, you have to find some way to get rid of the wave, but how the hell do you do this as an Akali? He has the Zhonya's.
17, 11 on Hylissang. He goes in, tries to clear it, dashes through, wants to delete it, but Razork, Oscarinin, eyes on the prize. It's the most kills in a best of 5 in LEC history. And it's Fnatic once again taking down Vitality, moving into top 3 in the LEC.
It took everything Fnatic had. Noah, head in hands, trying to figure out what the hell just happened in that game. But oh my god, what an incredible series from Fnatic.
And I gotta say, there's moments that everyone in this series can be proud of, but in the clutch, Fnatic were there. Oscar was there. So many engages. Vitality could not deal with this Zac. And Humanoid just so consistently creating the space his team needed, finding the opportunities his team needed, either whether it was to keep him in the game or to win the fights. And even when it looked over, Vitality mounted such a good defense. Photon, Vetheo, in some of those final moments, but all it took was a single mistake before it all fell apart. You can vote for your key player of the series at LEC on X, Oscarinin, Humanoid, or Noah. I'd even pick any Fnatic member, frankly.
Yeah, honestly. Photon, a hero play to try and keep the games alive several different occasions where I felt like Vitality were completely knocked out, but heartbreak from Vetheo on the stage, getting caught out right at the end.
He knows.
Yeah.
And it's crushing. You can't imagine the weight in that moment, how this will haunt him. But ultimately all he can do is try and come back stronger in the future for Fnatic. They're not going home. They're going back to the gaming house, back to the office, back to scrim, back to get ready for the week in front of them. BDS to the first opposition. Winner will go to MSI. Winner will go to our finals. Have a chance to take it all against G2.
I don't know.
I don't know what to say. That was insane.
Yeah.
Incredible game to finish the series on. Favorite series I've cast in quite some time.
That was bonkers. That was absolutely insane. The fact that we had so many comebacks, so many clutch opportunities on both sides, and it really did come down to tiny little decisions that end up solving the entire thing. I was convinced at several times we were going to a game 5.
As was I. And then they can't quite end on the side of it. I mean, it was just so chaotic and so back and forth. We could VOD review that 20 times. Find little opportunities, little windows for either side, but just some incredible stuff, honestly, as we gear up on stage, getting ready for an interview now with victorious Fnatic.
I think the takeaway for me, though, for Fnatic is better skirmishing in the early stages, better control when they had their moments. But honestly, we're going to chat to Noah in a second. Noah, phenomenal series. Really big step up from that guy. Even when we started to look at, hey, he's getting shoved off of things like the Jinx and the Xerries, which were the two things we'd seen him really pop off on in playoffs. The Varus looked great. He had phenomenal performances on things like the Xayah that, like, it felt like Noah was untouchable at so many points, and it became such a Noah and Carzzy story to see who would battle it out for the win.
An incredible battle, no doubt in my mind, but Fnatic are the victors. Let's send it on down to Oscarinin and Noah.
Thank you, guys. Fantastic cast. Oscarinin, Noah, thank you so much for joining me. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
Before I jump into any questions, to try and break down the madness of this best of 5, this was the bloodiest series, the most kills that LEC has ever seen in a series, and it almost went to game 5. You guys went above and beyond. Oscarinin, your first thoughts on the series or the game?
I don't know, like it was perma-fighting, as you said, so like it was really frenetic. We had to think all the time where we wanted to fight or what we wanted to do, so yeah, it was really crazy to play. Like Noah is exhausted after this last game, you can see him. He cannot with his life, I don't know, it's crazy.
Noah, I saw you pulling your hair when you came here. You took a deep breath. 199 kills. A lot of them in the bot lane. Carzzy and Hylissang gave you guys a run for your money. How did you experience the 2 versus 2 in the bot lane?
I mean, I can't think now. I mean, I'm so confused, so I don't know.
Crazy series, that is very understandable. Oscarinin, I'm going to detach us a little bit from this series. I'm going to take us back to the previous one versus Team Heretics. Razork on the mic check, not very happy about that performance versus Team Heretics. What did you guys have to work on to come confident into this one?
I mean, yeah, for sure the last series were pretty shit by us. I think we played pretty well. And obviously we want to show a good performance since our objective is to win and to go to MSI. So we talked a lot and I think we were pressuring ourselves a lot and we tried to relax a bit, the stress and everything. And we're trying, like we had one day, so it wasn't really working a lot, you know. Like obviously it's not gonna change from one day to another, but I think we are improving on it, so it's fine.
All right, guys, I want to give you a rest real quickly, but before we get there, you're going to be playing versus BDS. Winner goes to MSI. Any thoughts on the bot lane matchup? It's going to be the Korean showdown.
I mean, yeah, I think Ice this is good, but I think we are better, for sure. Like, so I will repeat him.
You're better than Ice?
I will repeat him.
Perfect, that's great. And for you, Oscarinin, you talked a little bit about the top lane matchup before. You talked about tanks and how, you know, you feel like a Chad if you win in a tank matchup. But let's be honest here, you're going to be playing against Adam, so you need a little bit of a extra type, I guess, preparation when you're going up against his champion pool.
I mean, for sure, like it's hard to blind tanks into his champion pool, so we'll see what happens. Like I'll see what to blind and everything, but I think it's going to be a fun top lane. It's always fun with Adam, so let's see. I'm looking forward to the match, yeah.
And we're looking forward to witness it again. And maybe we break another record for more skills in a series. I'm going to let you guys go and rest. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you again.
Thank you.
And good luck in your series versus Team BDS. We're going to throw it over to
Thank you.
PGL with Ginny, Humanoid, and Nightshare.